Hey, what's up guys? Alex here from Hot O's with another video for you guys. We are here today and pretty much what we got is we got a customer that dropped off some stuff here and he wants us just to go through it because none of it was working. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. The car's been sitting for a while. When he hits the switch, oil just literally pisses out of everywhere. He says the car barely goes up when it wants to. So to me it just kind of sounds like the pumps were really old, so he wanted to go through and just rebuild everything. So that's what we're gonna do today. So let me grab them, let me show you what we're working with. And it's 2 pumps, and we'll kind of lay it out real quick. We got those in there good. Alright, so I just took that first pump out of the bag. Oh yeah, we're just pissing oil everywhere. I just made a mess, so. And that's actually coming out of the motor side. So obviously that tells you steel seal's bad right off the bat. So we're gonna come through. I'm gonna snap some pictures of this because he told me the layout of this was pretty critical. So let me pull up the other one real quick. I made a mess. Here's the second pump. So this guy looks like he's running front, back, corner. And there's just oil everywhere. Now I see why he had it in so many bags. He said that pretty much every, I think, day and a half, the car's sitting, he had to go and just wipe up his whole trunk. Because obviously, you can tell oil is literally just coming out of the motor, seeping out of all the seals. So, that is our job. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna make it right. We're gonna get this thing functional for him. He didn't want to spend money on, getting a whole bunch of new pumps. And I told him, honestly, if they work, man, why go and spend a whole bunch of new money when you can just rebuild the stuff? Especially when you got a square on here right now. That square right now, shoot, used is going for over $1,000. So let's get this guy torn apart, cleaned up. Let's see what we're working with. Before we jump into it, I kind of want to go over the invoice with you guys so you guys kind of know what's going on. His front pump here, it was running a single dump. Big, huge check valve, 3/4 check valve, dropping down to number 6 pressure out. On his front pump, he specifies it only spins, it will not create any pressure. So he wants to go through, obviously figure out why it's only spinning and no pressure is coming out. We're also going to do all new O-rings in the gear, on the block, in between the gear and the block. We're going to pull the motor apart, clean the motor apart. We're going to reseal the dump. We're going to pull the dump apart, rebuild it, all that stuff. Then we're also going to go ahead and reseal the whole thing. We're going to eliminate all that yellow Teflon that's on there. And that will pretty much take care of the front pump. Obviously, you do the full rebuild and all that. So once you rebuild all that stuff, we're just going to put it on test bench and check it from there. On this back pump, he says back pump, everything leaks, and he says it's bad. All new seals, all new O-rings, clean everything out, and also retape everything. When I put retape, that just means we're going to reseal everything. So we're going to go through, clean all these fittings. We're going to use what we can on here. And again, a lot of you guys are going to kind of be doing the same thing. You're going to use what you can, use what's available to you guys, so you're not going to come out of pocket crazy. So that's what we're doing here. Now let's jump into it. You guys can kind of see oil is just coming out of here. Should get some pump bolts in here real quick so we get this on the vise. That way I can just muscle the crap out of it if I have to. Lay out some rags here, and we're just gonna go to town and start breaking it all apart. Break the dump off real quick. A lot of stuff's gonna leak oil, but there you go. It's part of the game. I'm gonna pull this off to the side for right now. We'll rebuild this later. If you guys don't know how to rebuild this, there's actually a video that we have on YouTube. It's a little older, but it kind of shows you how to reassemble it and everything. Now, if you've never done it, I kind of don't really recommend it, especially because they're just so delicate. But if you got a spare one laying around, if you guys want to experiment on it, go for it. Biggest thing on it is do not scar the inside. Now this guy is an original. This is an Adel, so this is original. We'll blow it all apart right now, see how it looks. For now, I'm gonna put that off to the side. We're gonna get all this blown apart. Yeah, break it apart from here. Ooh, man, that's tight. Bring out the big crescent wrench. And someone buried this guy in here. Just to give you an idea, this is 3/4 right here. This is number 6 JIC, so you guys kind of see the size comparison. That's what we're working with right now, 3/4. Start off by just pulling this motor off. That guy wasn't even tight. You can see all the oil dripping out of there. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. Oil's just dripping out. So that right off the bat tells you shaft seal is gone. There is a key in here. He was saying his front pump was just spinning. There is a key, so you know the key's not the issue. Make sure to put all the stuff off to the side. Get the 4 acorn nuts, the rods. All this stuff obviously gonna have to get cleaned up because it's oily. I mean, you guys can kind of see here. This is pretty bad. So, get this tank pulled apart. So right here, normally people just muscle this off or put a flathead in between the tank and the block right here. I don't like doing that. I normally just hold on to the tank plug and just kind of muscle it. I do that so I don't bend the flanges. I mean, the flanges are already kind of bent, but there it goes. I got a Marzocchi in here, so I went ahead and dumped the oil out. I don't know if you guys can see that, the metallicness going on in there. Look at this. That's all metal shavings in there, aluminum shavings actually. Oh yeah, so a lot of guys too will say that they shove a magnet in there and it works great. You guys gotta remember, the new stuff's aluminum. If you guys can find an aluminum magnet for me, send it my way. I've been looking for one for years. It doesn't work like back in the days, guys. Back in the days, the gears were steel, so when they used to shave, it would stick to the magnet. Now the stuff's aluminum, so. All right, so these are normally 1/2 inch. Oh, right off the bat, he's missing a bolt here, so. Don't have lock washers on that one. This one's missing a lock washer. So you can tell it's kind of assembled backyard-wise. Didn't have everything needed. Number 8 O-ring is definitely flattened, so that's gonna get replaced. As you guys can tell, that's supposed to be the shaft seal. Let's see. Someone tried to replace it with a super seal, but they never took out the old one. So that's gonna cause issues, leak into the motor. Let's blow this guy apart, see how the inside. Obviously the bolts are stripped. So I'm gonna take this thing apart, flip it on its butt side. And these are the Marzocchis that are casted. Not a huge fan of them personally. So here you guys go. This is gonna be the culprit of why he's not building pressure. See that? See how it's broken? So he blew pressure on the bottom side. As far as the red E shape, those look decent. We'll still replace them, but they'll still look decent. Now let's check the back. Back's the same thing. Blown O-ring. I'm not worried about seals or anything right now, guys, because obviously we're going to replace everything, so getting most of this oil off. I know you're gonna have still a little bit of the residual, but just so it's not so slippery and slimy, and so I can see if there's any imperfections in here. I just hate working on this stuff when it's so nasty. Can you bring me back a set of 4 gear bolts with lock washer protectors? And a number 8 of the block O-ring and a tank O-ring. So I actually just got off the phone with the customer, and we're actually going to be swapping out that Marzocchi because it's the casted one and it's the oddball casted one where it has a thinner O-ring. So we're actually going to be swapping it out to something that's just easier to get parts for, something that's going to be a little more reliable. So he said he was okay with going into the Presto High because he knows that, you know, those things you can pretty much beat the crap out of them, and they're decent, you know, decent gears. He's only running 6 batteries, so I mean it's gonna actually hold up better than that Marzocchi on the cast side. Now, if he was hopping, then he would try to search down an original Marzocchi, but you know, for what it's worth, it's actually not worth going through the headache and trying to search down for those parts because it's nearly impossible to find that stuff. So we're gonna slap this guy in here, get the new bolts on. We're gonna do all new bolts because his last bolts were all mismatched, missing stuff on here. So we're just gonna swap that out. Let's see what's up with this guy right here. Alright, now for the tank O-ring, I placed the number 8 O-ring in between here right before the fact I put the gear on here, so that's all good. I might just double check factory spec. So you're good. Now, yeah, clean out this nasty tank real quick before I snap all this back together. You hear that nice little pop right there? That means the O-ring's nice and tight, so we're good as far as that. We gotta clean up this vacuum plate. You'll see me spray a lot of stuff down with carpet spray because the carpet spray will remove a lot of the oily substance that's kind of left over. It just makes it easier to handle and not so slimy, obviously. I'm just gonna clean up each one of the rods. So now the pump's back into the vise over here. What we're gonna do right now is this motor is fairly new. As you can tell, there's really not much wear on the brushes or on the actual armature. It has to be almost brand new. If I had to guess, I see almost no dust in here at all. I don't think it's really been spun. But there was oil in here, and it is kind of oily, gooey, slimy. So we're gonna clean out some electrical contact cleaner real quick and get that all going. We're actually pretty lucky that this wasn't that bad. So just a quick wipe up. And yeah, the fills aren't too bad in there. I did spray some of that contact cleaner on there. Yeah, not much is needed to actually keep this one going here. So we're back over here to the block and the pump. We're just gonna make sure that the key goes in nice and smooth. Wipe this down. It has a little bit of oil, not too bad. The 16 side is gonna go to the actual gear. I should have got my drill, my impact. Normally I put this on kind of wherever, and then I just rotate, and with pressure on the bolts, you'll feel them kind of grab. And I'm kind of doing this without looking because it's on the back side here. put this off to the side, and we're gonna start working on the fitting assembly. So one little thing I like to do, I like to mock everything together, like how it's gonna go. Then I come back in and break it all apart again and put sealant on it. I'm using the Loctite 545. We have this on the website, guys. This is literally my favorite stuff. It's like French Red Hot. I put that shit on everything. Love it. Surprisingly, this little bottle, little piece of Teflon, try to trick me. This little bottle will go a long way. I think I've done like, this is I think my second setup with this little bottle. It's at the very edge of it, last of it. So long for this Loctite 545. Just picked up a new one. That's the pleasure of the 545. Just put it on there, wipe it all off. It's like you did nothing. Now, let's get this pump back up here. I'm not even gonna mess around, just get the big crescent wrench. Just because it's fitting so massive. When you have a swivel, nothing's gonna go on here. People put Teflon here, that's wrong. We're just gonna get everything hand tight right now because I gotta see the lineup of all this stuff. That looks like they could use a little tweak on the downwards. All we're gonna get out of that one. Side over to this side because I realized that the return side was over here. So we just flipped that over. Just gotta tighten up these two returns, and or this one return and these two fittings. And these are pretty much, this one's all ready to go. I'm not going to crank down on these because this is a JRC flare. Anything that has a nipple, a JRC flare, you just normally go snug, quarter turn, and it's a male-female seal. So it's not like a pipe or MPT where it's tapered and you have to bury it down to tighten it. These are face seals, so you give everything a little wipe up. Now obviously, this isn't a brand new setup, so it's not going to be all shiny, 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 but for what it is, everything's sealed back up. We're going to let this guy dry for a little bit, and then we're going to eventually toss it onto the test bench. But I'm very, very confident that what we just did right here is the rebuild with new main O-ring for the tank, new pressure O-ring, just a completely new gear, cleaned up the motor, new shaft seal, and then took all the Teflon off and resealed it with 545, rebuilt the dump here. Everything here should be pretty pristine, and you should get a lot more use out of this guy, whether he puts it back in the car, sells it, whatever he does with it. I mean, he's definitely getting his money's worth now.